Hello and welcome back to another art time lapse. Today you're watching sped up footage of me drawing a Floragato from Pokemon. Stick around until the end to see how the proper finished result looks like. In the meantime, let's discuss some things about this art. So what I am doing now is drawing out a wireframe to assure that the finished product does not look like trash. In order to make it as faithful to the source material as possible, I am using an official Floragato artwork and sort of like drawing over it, but not to the point where it's tracing it because I want to show off my artistic skill here. Also, here's a little fun fact about the wireframe. Did you see I'm filling some of the bits up? Well, these are like bits that are like overlapping, and you get the point. Like, not overlapping, like on top of something else. Now, this is unnecessary, but I do it anyways because I like to do it. And also, in my previous art, like in my older art, I used to like color it in instead of fill it in. But now I just fill it in it because it's much more quicker. So anyways, now we're on to the line art, and this is when the wireframe's use comes in. I use the wireframe to I trace over the wireframe with the line art so the line art can look good. That's basically all I do for the line art. So, since I have literally nothing else to say about the line art, I'll just explain some things behind this art. For the Floragato's pose, it was quite hard to come up. It's because I didn't want to reuse any of my old poses from my art because I like being innovative and not being lazy. It's because laziness is bad and we don't like copying things. So after a lot of thinking, I came to like this pose where she's holding her vine and her bud. And also I gave the bud like a flower thingy. It's because it is a bud and it opens up into a flower. That's something that is not seen in official media, but is seen in my realistic, well, semi-realistic art style. So anyways, now we're on to the coloring. So basically, all I do here is use official colors from the official Floragato images to be more faithful to the source material. Use the lasso tool to highlight a designated area, and use the fill bucket tool to fill it in. Sometimes I don't need to use the lasso tool, so I do the coloring in myself. Now, I don't solely rely on the fill bucket tool because it actually leaves some pixels out, which makes the art itself look quite unprofessional and you won't be able to unsee it. So that's why I use the lasso tool too. So anyways, now we're on to the fourth section, the shading. So anyways, like the coloring, I use the lasso tool to assure that nothing goes out of bounds. But there's a key difference. I don't fill anything in at all. Instead, I draw in the art myself. And also, I use an airbrush tool rather than a regular pen tool. It's because it makes the art look more realistic, 3D, and beautiful. And we can't forget that both the shading and the highlights, which you'll see soon, are actually tinted green, which will be the color of the background, which you'll soon see. So anyways, the reason why I didn't decide to go black and white and instead have them tinted, it's because while it is a minor detail that might not be noticed at first, it makes the art look more vivid and pretty. And it's something that I learned through like art tips that I saw, so I decided to implement it in all of my modern artworks. So anyways, the reason why Floragato is now transparent and the background is now grey is so that I can see the shading on her. It's because I don't want to make a mistake. Sure, I can do this almost blind, but still, we don't want to risk it. So anyways, just before we move on to the background, I want to tell you a fun fact. This will be the first time I draw a complete evolution line of Pokemon, as I drew Meowscarada fanart twice and Spigartito fanart once. So yeah, that's a cool fact. So anyways, now we're on to the background, and so what I'm going to do is insert Floragato's like flower bud that they use as like patterns on the background. We're just gonna add the same pattern as like the the bud itself, and we're going to add the vines soon. Let me just finish this off. And so anyways, we're going to add the vines coming out of various places just like this, and we're going to like add some like outlines to make this look better, and some like tinging here, and it's almost finished. Now let's see the finished result. Now that's a funky kitty. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're interested in more content like this, then subscribe. You can also follow me on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, for art retweets and my own art coming out before the speed paints. Goodbye.